We just got the exciting news that Super Nintendo World will officially open at Universal Studios Hollywood on February 17th, 2023. So if you're wondering, hey, what is going on with this new land, or you're super excited to go and you just want to know how you can best prepare, what to expect when you go, in this video, I'm going to cover everything that you need to know before Super Nintendo World opens on February 17th. My name's David Vaughn. I create theme park content, showing you the best tips for how you can explore places like Disneyland, Universal Studios, and more. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. I would love it. I'm gonna give you all sorts of new tips, including ones for the upcoming Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios Hollywood. So let's get into it. What is going on at Super Nintendo World? What will it look like? How will it feel like? Where is it gonna be? Okay, so at Universal Studios Hollywood, there are two lots, if you're not familiar, an upper lot and a lower lot. The upper lot is where you enter. That's where you see the Wizarding World of Harry Potter in the Springfield Simpsons area. And on the lower lot, which you take a bunch of escalators to get down to, is where you have iconic attractions like Jurassic World the ride and Transformers the ride. And next to Transformers the ride will be a giant warp pipe where you'll enter Super Nintendo World. Super Nintendo World is going to be completely immersive. So when you're inside, it'll be like a 360 no matter where you look. There's always going to be something exciting to see. So it's going to be incredible, vibrant. You'll see characters, you'll see bad guys, you'll see other warp type pipes, you'll see blocks that you can hit to get coins out of, all sorts of interactive elements. And that's a really important thing to note about Super Nintendo World. When Universal approached Nintendo about getting the rights for a new land, Nintendo really wanted interactive elements because, of course, everybody needs that flagship ride, and there's going to be that. I'm going to get into that soon. But really what Nintendo wanted was to make sure that its fans were getting some type of gaming aspect, because after all, they are a video game company. It just makes sense, right? So in the land, you're going to have tons of things that you can interact with, which is going to be incredibly exciting. So we're going to talk about how you can interact with the land, what you can expect to see there, but also I don't want to give away too many secrets, too many details to spoil the fun. So I'm going to give you an overall view and a look and some extra details without showing or giving away too much. It's going to be pretty much spoiler free. That's what I'm going to say here. Okay, so now we're going to talk about how you're going to interact with the land. You're going to use these power-up bands that Super Nintendo World is going to sell inside the land, but you can also purchase them at other locations around Universal Studios Hollywood and the CityWalk, which is a shopping district right outside the park that you walk through most of the time to get to the park entrance. So these power-up bands are going to help you interact with so many different elements around Super Nintendo World. This is going to include if you jump up and punch one of the blocks, you'll be able to collect coins. These should link to an app inside your phone and be able to calculate all the points that you get. There'll also be interactive levels. Super Nintendo World is basically set up in different actual physical levels that you can explore. So as you do this, you'll be able to move through these spaces and you'll see different sorts of bad guys. Sometimes they'll be on the outside, whether it's like a koopa, or if it's a pokey, which is like those cactus things that move. But whatever the case, there should be a bunch of different bad guys that you can fight. Once you defeat enough, you should be able to unlock a battle with Bowser Jr. Now, this is how it works in the current version of Super Nintendo World, which exists at Universal Studios Japan. So that one's been open for about a year and a half. And that's what lends us to know a lot which might happen in this land when it does open. But the levels are going to be sometimes things that you can explore inside. Sometimes, like I said, they're going to be outside. But also those power-up bands are going to interact with different things. If you are talking to characters, they'll have some type of interactivity there. Don't quite know what that's going to be just yet, but that's what Universal has said. In addition, when you take the power-up bands home, you can use them as amiibo with your games, and they'll interact. So if you have like a Mario amiibo, it'll interact as a type of Mario thing. Each of them could have separate different things that they can unlock in the games, just depending on the game. So that should be really fun. And maybe they'll roll out some new stuff in the future too, if these become extra popular. But also what these power-up bands won't do is So the points and things that you tally, like a lot of people go, oh, can you exchange it for something physical? No, it's just kind of something that you can keep track of. It's like a reward system. Maybe in the future we'll see something roll out where you can exchange them for something physical, but I could only see them maybe being exchanged for something in like the Nintendo shop, or maybe if Universal sets up something like that, or maybe like a collectible, digital collectible. I would love it to be able to unlock certain things in games that I'm playing, but hey, I understand not everybody can make it to the land, so why have that sort of paywall up for a gaming experience? Okay, for this next part, I cannot believe I even get to say this, but we're gonna be able to play real life Mario Kart when it opens at Universal Studios Hollywood in Super Nintendo World. So what this means is there'll be a new ride called Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge. Now, this does currently exist at Universal Studios Japan, but inside the ride, there will be interactive elements as well as real set pieces. So this is how it'll work. You will enter through Bowser's Keep, or Bowser's Castle, or Bowser's Fortress, however you want to call it, and you will see all kinds of details around you, including stuff like this. This is actually from the ride, it looks like. So once you get onto the ride though, it won't be like an individual Mario Kart like you do in the game. It'll actually be one that seats a few people. So your whole party can go together, and you'll also get these AR goggles that go on you, and that's gonna help you see some of like the video game aspects. So what is that gonna look like? So basically, when you go through the ride, I know a lot of people are worried, like, is it gonna be another screen-based ride? I don't want another screen-based ride. Well, it's not gonna be that. You are going to get, you're gonna get physical set pieces, but on top of that, your AR goggles will bring stuff to life that doesn't really exist there. So you might see other carts racing by you, you might see bad guys moving around you, and you also get to be able to have turtle shells that you can use to battle. So that's gonna be the best interactive play part. You will drive through multiple different courses, all inspired by the Mario Kart game. So some of the things might look really familiar to you, because I think it's safe to say we've all been waiting to play Mario Kart in real life like our entire lives. So this is finally gonna bring it to us. We'll see how it all feels when it debuts. I know it's hard to see some of the elements in some of the videos that you might watch on YouTube, because they don't really show you what you're seeing through the goggles. It's kind of like recording Toy Story Mania and just seeing like blurry images. Anytime you record something in 3D or that uses augmented reality, it's just not going to pan out to like what the full user experience is going to be like. So, all right, so on to characters. What's going to happen once you're inside the land? Who will you see? We are going to see Mario and Peach and Luigi. They're expected to be inside the land. Universal didn't come out and say, but I'm pretty sure that we're also gonna see Toad. He was a huge hit when he debuted at Universal Studios Japan, along with the land. And it's mostly because he just looks really squished and short. So I'm excited to see Toad. I'm excited to see what they'll bring to this land. Now, some elements are missing from the Japan one. It is gonna be a bit smaller because there's just not enough space really down there. The missing attraction, because there's actually two attractions to Japan. There's the Mario Kart ride, and then there's also a Yoshi's Adventure ride. We're not getting the Yoshi's Adventure ride, unfortunately. It's an Omni-Mover ride, so think like Haunted Mansion, but actually think more like the attraction that we currently have as Secret Life of Pets. If you haven't been on that ride, it's really fun, especially if you love the movie. There's some really unique scenes there. So in a way, we kind of got Secret Life of Pets instead of the Yoshi one. And even though I understand people saying, I really wish that the Yoshi one, we would get the Yoshi one, it is expected to debut when Super Nintendo World opens at Universal Orlando. It's a new park called Epic Universe, and that's set to open sometime in 2025. So we can wait until then if you're not going to go to Japan before then to check out that. Here we're going to get the Mario Kart ride first, a lot of the interactive elements, and of course these characters. So we'll see if they end up debuting some more. I'm really, really wanting Toad to be there though. Speaking of Toad, we have the Toadstool Cafe. This is gonna open as the signature quick service restaurant opening inside Super Nintendo World. Now, we don't know the complete menu yet, but in Japan, they have sort of things that I don't know would be a big hit here. I mean, I think the aesthetic look of them, like including this sort of like mushroom puff pizza thing, but a lot of them have some flavors that I'm kind of questioning if a lot of people would want. But I'm also expecting Italian food because, you know, the Mario brothers are Italian. So I would also expect to see that some of the things will roll out here. Maybe we'll get like a tortellini dish. I don't know. But I am excited to see what kind of food is going to be out there. Now, currently, there is a snack shop set out right outside the land. And this is already open at Universal Studios Hollywood in the lower lot, and it serves all sorts of like different slushies that are currently available in Japan. I'm not sure if this spot's gonna stick around for a long time or if they're sort of testing it, but you can try things now. And on to merch, there is going to be so much merch in this land, including in the 1UP store. So this is where you'll be able to buy things like plushies and apparel and things like that. But there is actually a lot of merchandise already available that you can purchase now in CityWalk and inside Universal Studios. So if you don't want to wait and you want to be totally prepared before you go, or just like worried there'll be extra long lines when the land debuts, don't worry, you can go to Universal Studios Hollywood now. You don't even need a ticket. Like I said, you can buy them in CityWalk right now. I actually went to the store. There was so much stuff to check out inside there. I loved it. I mean, it was kind of like, you know, just an explosion of Mario stuff, but I think they learned from the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, and Universal knows that people love to buy unique merch. So they ordered a ton of it. And a lot of it is the stuff that you can get in Japan, which is known for having really fantastic merch because people love to buy unique, fun things there. So I think that if you're a collector of these types of things, you are not going to feel like that you missed out because, like I said, there's already a ton of stuff available. It's also very possible that we'll get even more shops inside of the land or maybe around it. Universal hasn't really said all of the details, and I think that maybe they're leaving out some things, even though our land is smaller than the one in Japan. I do expect to see that there will be maybe some more retail locations, maybe even some more snack locations. We'll see exactly what rolls out, but so far what we have does look really amazing, and I think when people see it, they are going to be incredibly excited. And lastly, it's expected that Super Nintendo World will use a reservation system to access the land. So if you are going to the park that day, can't just immediately walk in, you will need a reservation to access that part of the park. And we know this because those who purchase Express Pass will have a reservation-free entry into Super Nintendo World. Now, here's what's interesting. It will not include Express Pass to cut the line for Bowser's Challenge. But if you think about it, already the land is gonna have a limited number of guests inside of it. So it's expected that the lines shouldn't be crazy, like hours long to experience the ride. It might be cut down to something between like 30 and 60 minutes in that queue. Also, if you have a Platinum Universal Pass, you will also be able to use your one-time reservation-free entry into the park on the day that you go, but it won't allow you also to skip the line for Bowser's Challenge. So it looks like we won't get Express Pass for the Mario Kart ride when it first launches. Sometimes Universal does this because there are just so many people using Express Pass, it just wouldn't make sense for them to try to sell this. And plus the lines, they can keep lines shorter this way. So if you want to know how you can get in the reservation system to make sure that you're inside this land and the best tips for visiting Super Nintendo World, make sure you smash the subscribe button. I'm gonna give you all the best tips that I possibly can for visiting this land. I am incredibly excited. Can't wait to meet the new characters, try the new food, use those power-up bands, and ride the signature ride, Mario Kart, in real life. And I want to know, if Super Nintendo World somehow gets expanded at Hollywood, which Nintendo franchise would you want to see placed inside the park? I would love to know your thoughts. Leave them in the comments below. Again, I'm David Vaughn. I cannot wait for this to open. Thanks for checking out this video, and I'll see you next time.